Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Arsenal ace want to watch on the market this summer, says a transfer expert. Arsenal winger Reiss Nelson could be one to watch on the market this summer, according to transfer news expert Fabrizio Romano in today's daily briefing column. Speaking exclusively to CaughtOffside for his column, Romano explained that Arsenal have had a quiet summer so far, as they are not in a hurry to bring new names in until they find the right opportunity. Romano also made it clear that outgoings could be important for the Gunners as well, with Nelson named as one player who could be one to keep an eye on. The 24-year-old is a fine player on his day, but he is perhaps not quite good enough to start regularly for Mikel Arteta's side these days, with the club improving a great deal after some smart recruitment in recent years. This now surely means Nelson needs to move on to play more regularly, and it doesn't make much sense for Arsenal to cling on to him when they don't have much need for him. Romano said the following: Reiss Nelson, the Arsenal winger, could be one to watch this summer as outgoings will be important as well as signings this summer. For now, Arsenal are not in a rush to bring in new players as it will depend on the right opportunities, but they could be open to some sales, with Nelson someone to keep an eye on. It remains to be seen who could come in for Nelson, but it's easy to imagine there could be several Premier League clubs who'd be willing to take him on, and perhaps even some big names from abroad. Nelson still has the potential to have a fine career if he gets the chance to play more often, and it's no disgrace to struggle to get into this star-studded Arsenal side. Real Madrid and PSG place Arsenal star at the top of their list of transfer targets. Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain are both interested in Arsenal defender William Saliba in this summer's transfer window, though the Gunners have no intention to sell the player. CaughtOffside understands Saliba is alongside Lille wonderkid Lenny Yoro as being top of Real Madrid's list of targets at centre-back, while PSG could be ready to sell Milan Skriniar to make room for a new addition in that area of the pitch, sources have told CaughtOffside. After some world-class performances for Arsenal in the last few years, it seems highly unlikely that the North London Giants will be ready to consider losing Saliba, who only recently signed a new long-term contract at the Emirates Stadium. Still, both Real Madrid and PSG have been following Saliba for a long time and have received information on the player, so it will be interesting to see if this progresses any further and if the clubs end up trying to test Arsenal's resolve over keeping the 23-year-old. Arsenal have done well to tie down key players like Saliba to new deals recently, as they surely cannot lose any of one of the likes of Saliba, Odegaard, Bukayo Saka or Ben White if they are to continue challenging Manchester City for the Premier League title. Mikel Arteta's side came very close to winning the league last season and will surely feel that with a good transfer window this summer, they can finally close that slender gap in 24-25. Selling Saliba to Real Madrid or PSG would undo a lot of the good work the club have done. So it's hard to imagine there is any vaguely realistic fee that would persuade them to let him go. Still, we know Real Madrid are a difficult team to say no to, so it might be worth watching how hard they push for Saliba if they cannot sign Euro to strengthen their defense. Juventus reignite their interest in Arsenal star because of his passport status. Juventus is set to reignite their interest in Arsenal star Jakub Kivior after encountering problems in their move for Nottingham Forest defender Morillo. The old lady wants to sign a new centre-back and began the summer targeting Kivior. However, Arsenal made it clear that he is not available for sale in this transfer window. Juve then turned their attention toward signing other players and were keen on landing Morillo from Forest. The Brazilian has been one of the most brilliant players in his role in the Premier League, and Forest was willing to sell to comply with FFP regulations. However, A report on Sport Italia claims the move has broken down because Juve cannot sign a player with a non-European passport again this summer. They have used up that spot and now we need a European passport holder to join them, which is why they have turned their attention to Kivior again. They will make other attempts to sign him in the coming days, and it will be interesting to see what Arsenal thinks of their interest. Kivior won our hearts with some terrific performances in the second half of last season, and we need to keep him for another campaign. Bukayo Saka responds to Arsenal legend's left back suggestion. Bukayo Saka has insisted he is not the solution to England's left back crisis. Former Arsenal striker Ian Wright offered an unconventional solution to England's with the problem, suggesting Southgate move Saka to left back to open up a starting place for Chelsea star Cole Palmer on the wing. Wright said the following: I saw a stat about Kieran Trippier being our second most productive player, touches and passes. I'm thinking, how are we going to get Palmer into the team if that's the case? With how naturally left sided Saka is, could you maybe put Saka at left back and put Palmer on the right simply because we need to get some balance and fluidity in the game? Wright's suggestion has sparked heated debate among England supporters. However, Saka himself has poured cold water on the possibility of him taking up a defensive role. He said, I don't think putting me out of position is the solution. At the end of the day, I think we can talk about this, but it's in Gareth's hands, so we will just have to trust whoever Gareth selects on the day. Alan Shearer is sure Arsenal target will not change clubs this summer. Alan Shearer does not expect Alexander Isak to change clubs this summer, despite Arsenal pursuing his signature. Isak has been one of the best players in his position in the Premier League, and Arsenal wants to sign a striker this summer. The Gunners have been tracking the Swede even before he moved to the Premier League, and they have been impressed with his adaptation to England's top flight. Isak is also on the radar of Chelsea and other top Premier League clubs, but Newcastle United does not want to sell him. Ahead of the next campaign, the Magpies are working hard to ensure he stays, and there are talks of him signing a new deal. This has not stopped Arsenal and his other suitors from getting serious about adding him to their squad. However, Shearer does not expect him to leave and says, as quoted by Metro Sport, the following: I'm not that worried about Isak being linked with other clubs. I don't think he will leave. I don't think it can happen. Newcastle supporters would go mad if it happened. Isak will not be easy to sign, and we will probably have to break our transfer record again to get him to join us. Gilberto Silva claims Arsenal should sign Brazilian superstar. Former Arsenal midfielder Gilberto Silva has stated that he would love to see Neymar at his old club next season. Although the Gunners once again fell short of their Premier League dream, missing out to Manchester City by just 2 points, Mikel Arteta has forged an incredible side in North London. After their best season ever in the league, the Spanish manager has the enviable task of trying to improve what is already one of the greatest sides in the world at the moment. But there are some obvious areas of improvement that could be targeted in the summer window, most notably the left side of the attack. Although they scored the second most goals in the division, Arteta's attack has become slightly predictable, with the majority of threat coming down the right-hand flank, with the trio of Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka and Ben White operating as an almost unstoppable force. The left-hand side, however, is not as cohesive, with Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard struggling with consistency. Arsenal legend Gilberto Silva has stated that he would love to see Neymar at the club and claimed that it's not an impossible deal. He said, I'd love to see Neymar in the Premier League with Arsenal. Let's see, it's not impossible that he could join Arsenal. Why not? Currently playing in the Saudi Pro League with Al Hilal, the Brazilian international has missed almost the entirety of the campaign after suffering an awful knee injury. Arsenal keeping a close eye on Serie A stars' transfer situation amid issue between two other clubs. Arsenal are reportedly keeping a close eye on the situation of Bologna defender Riccardo Calafiori this summer, as there could be a complication involving his preferred move to Juventus. That's according to Fabrizio Romano via the Daily Briefing, with the Italian journalist explaining that Calafiori is being considered by the Gunners, as it's not a foregone conclusion that he will get his move to Juve. Calafiori looked a world-class performer in Serie A last season, and it makes sense that he is attracting interest from bigger clubs this summer, though it seems one issue is that Bologna and Juventus don't have a great relationship after Thiago Motta's move between the clubs. Romano said the following: Riccardo Calafiori's future could now be one to watch, as the Euros are over for the Italian national team after a surprise defeat to Switzerland yesterday. In May and the beginning of June, Bologna were hoping for Calafiori to stay at the club, while back in February March, Calafiori was giving his preference to Juventus, and my understanding is that his preference remains Juventus. He would love to play for Juve and also for Thiago Motta, who was his manager at Bologna last season. However, as always mentioned, the relationship between Bologna and Juve is complicated. This is because of the Thiago Motta situation. Still, Juventus are still there for Calafiori. There is an agreement with the player, and it's just Bologna are making life difficult for Juve now that Italy are out of the Euros. Bologna expect Premier League clubs to jump into the race for the defender's signature. Arsenal are keeping a close eye on the situation. It's not a negotiation as of now, but let's see how they will move. Meanwhile, Chelsea also want to add a talented left-footed centre-back, and Calafiori is one of the best around. He's been scouted by Chelsea this year, so that could also be one to watch, while let's also wait and see if other clubs will join the race. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.